the SoundCentric podcast. I'm Samuel Sarfo.
I'm Adam Dash.
Thank you guys for tuning in. It's been a while. It feels good to be back. I haven't seen this guy's face in a hot minute. Adam, my guy, hope you're doing well. You already know what the drill is. What is your playlist title and leading single?
My playlist title is Concerts on Concerts, because from an outside view, I've been to a lot of concerts recently. My friends, last night I walk out the door, they're like, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "I'm about to see Red Veil." They're like, "Didn't you just see someone on Sunday?" Because of the club I'm in, I got to work a concert. The band Coin and Peachtree Rascals, they were amazing. Coin blew me away. I did not know their music. One of the better shows I've been to. Red Veil, Femdot, my guy from Chicago. That guy, people don't know how crazy breath control is, and like being able to rap every lyric while jumping around. I know how hard that is. That shit was crazy. Shout out Femdot. Red Veil had an EP drop last night. Was his birthday too, I think. Amazing performance. So we'll go the song to highlight that playlist. We'll do PG Baby by Red Veil. But yeah, it's
Shout out to those two. And like you said, it's important because a lot of these artists, not even to sound like a hater right in the beginning while I'm back, but performing is important. And you know, sometimes people just play just the track, and this happens a lot in rap. People just play the track and they kind of just let the track play. They kind of sing along to it. I know you said it a million times already. I'm not here. I didn't pay money to listen to the music. I got AirPods at home, you know?
Yeah, it's true. And I started making a list of things I've noticed artists do that I think works for a crowd. If you're an opening artist, if you have like 4 free t-shirts and you say like, "Who wants a t-shirt?" Everyone goes crazy. People love free stuff. I think interacting with the crowd as much as possible, whether it's doing like, "Let me hear everyone say ayo," and the whole crowd goes like ayo, like kind of the Bohemian Rhapsody type thing. That gets the people going. You need a good DJ if you're a rapper and you're like, that's all you have with you. You need someone who's kind of filling in those last words and getting the crowd hype. But yeah, there's a lot of, you got to kind of embarrass yourself too. You can't be afraid of like just going crazy. Even if you're performing for like like 50 people, you just got to just go out there and kill it.
You got to. Shout out to those two.
Yeah, grinding artists. But yo, Femdot blew me away. Shout out to him.
Yes,
But
sir.
you've been working hard towards your profession. Tell me how you're doing, because I know you're stressed.
I'm doing okay. I'm stressed a little bit, but even so, my playlist title is going to be What's the Use? Shout out to Mac Miller. He's the boy.
Yes, sir.
And the song is going to be So Much Trouble by Bob Marley off his Survival album. You need to get hip to some Bob Marley. I'm going to get Adam hip to some Bob Marley.
I love
Show him
Bob
that
Marley,
real music. Show him that real music. Now, people say, this is what I hate. People are like, "I love Bob Marley." And they're like, "Name me a song." Three Little Birds.
Yeah. I'm not saying I'm not the biggest I'm not a stan of Bob Marley, but who doesn't like Bob Marley? He's amazing.
Everyone loves Bob Marley, but that's just because I found this stat. I don't even know if this stat is real. Matter of fact, this data could be 100% false, but I just thought it was funny.
Hey, say it.
But it said, a new study reveals that over 38 million songs on streaming platforms such as Apple Music and Spotify received 0 plays in 2022. So it's hard out here, you know. We're all grinding. Just a little bit of motivation to the people. Keep working, keep grinding. Don't give up on those dreams. But that's tough. And also shows the oversaturation.
I mean, I would hope a lot of those are just bots or like just like fake songs. I mean, you should be able to get someone to listen to one of your songs. Maybe your mom. Mom or dad gets us 2 plays right there.
That's crazy. They're not supporting that whack career.
Yeah, fuck. But to get into things, Sam knows how much I've sent Sam paragraph on paragraph at this situation. Look at the camera.
Yep.
Frank Ocean, you're a dick. You're a dick. So we'll start with a couple of different points. First, he has enough money where he never has to make music again. It's fine. If he doesn't make any music ever again, that is his own right to not release music. He doesn't owe it to us. That being said, let's start with the fans who weren't at Coachella. You let Coachella advertise that this concert would be live streamed for months. For months. People were tweeting all day, "We're getting the first Frank Ocean concert in 6 years." And then YouTube even tweets that day of the concert, "Frank Ocean will be streamed tonight." And he pulls out. For what reason? Because he's a mysterious artist and like no one can see his stream. So that really annoyed me as a fan from home, who me and all my roommates, we stayed up. We were ready to watch that concert. That pissed me off.
Hey,
now let's talk about
go off.
Yeah. Now let's talk about the fans who are there, because this was a big fuck you to people who paid probably thousands of dollars to go to Coachella. Most people have to fly there to California, pay for living. You got to buy like a $60 burrito while you're there.
Oh yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah, you saw that. So
Yeah.
people paid their hard-earned money. And purely, it's because Frank Ocean was coming. People bought pre-sale tickets when he was the only announced headliner. And you come out an hour late, end your performance early because the curfew limits. Also perform an EDM concert in the middle, letting your friend DJ. And then you don't even sing Nikes or you don't even sing Nights. You just let the audio play in the background. Like, fuck you. And I think people, and let me say this, Frank Ocean, Anderson .Paak are like my favorite singers ever. I'm still going to listen to Frank Ocean. But people like are investing in you. They love you and they paid their hard-earned money to see you. And I think it's just a major fuck you to your fans that really wanted to come and support you. And people who defend him are like people who like defend billionaires. It's like, yo, Frank Ocean made $4 million for that set.
Say his name. JB.
He made $4 million for that set. And you guys are like, they should be happy that at least he came. Is that how low the bar is? That like the headlining act who got paid $4 million, at least he showed up. Stop complaining. Have you seen what Beyonce did at Coachella? On Netflix? Go look that video up. That's like the greatest concert ever. People bring their A games to Coachella. And this guy, and I'm sure people who are watching this have seen the picture on Twitter that he had an ice skating rink with a bunch of ice skaters who came. He had them melt the whole thing an hour before the concert, told the people who are professional ice skaters that you are now just background dancers. So I think he's just like a rude guy. I don't know him personally. This is all just assumptions based off information we have collected. But I think we've set the bar so low for what we like. How much do artists owe to us? Maybe he doesn't owe us new music all the time, but dude, if you're getting paid $4 million, put on a show. Come on.
Yeah. And that's, I think, a great question to ask. What do artists owe us, the fans? And honestly, I was in the bunker for this, y'all. I saw some rumblings on Twitter. Adam updated me, and I read through it. To my understanding, basically everything was set, but last minute, he was upset about some things. He wanted to make some changes, like literally last minute, which is not cool because obviously you have the ice skating rink, you have all these things set up. People have already trained their whole entire year. They spent their year to do this, and they couldn't have. And then he was threatening to pull out. Correct? Is that what happened? He threatened to pull out.
Apparently
It's tough because, again, as a professional and somebody with that platform, I guess you have to take that step and you have to sacrifice and you have to do that for your fans because, again, these are people with normal jobs, 9 to 5, and they spent your hard-earned money to see you. Yet again, I know that I don't see Frank Ocean as some god just because he is an artist. I feel like, at least in American culture, we literally die for celebrities. We pray for celebrities. Like, they're like these icons. But Frank Ocean, he's a human being. You know, his little brother passed away not too long ago. And again, these aren't excuses to have an awful performance. I mean, I don't want to call it awful. I didn't see it, but this is what Twitter was saying. They said it was not good.
It seemed awful.
Yeah, and it's a little bit disappointing. But then I understand that Frank is a human, and truthfully, like, in the artist perspective, I don't think artists should owe anyone shit because those so-called fans really aren't fans in my eyes. Like, these people, there's some people who are maybe fans, they really do support you, but the rest of them, they just like your music. But when shit hits the fan, are you still a fan? And the answer is no. You know, these fans will throw you away. Look what they did to Chance. Chance was the #1 most loved rapper out here. Look what they did to him. You call those fans? Please.
Facts.
So I don't know.
I think when it comes to like releasing the literal music, you don't owe fans anything. It's this whole like mysterious artist thing that some of these artists love that aspect. And that's something that's definitely lost in our generation because we have so much detail about every artist's life that people like Frank Ocean, Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole that stay hidden seem so intriguing to us. But I guess we're kind of seeing more of who Frank Ocean is. And it seems like when it comes to concerts, I think you do owe your fans everything you have because they paid money to see you. And it's like a business. We are investing our money to see you perform and we are supporting you. And Lauryn Hill's known for doing this, coming out late to concerts. People have places to be. People have babysitters who are taking care of their kids while they're at this concert or paid for hotels. People flew from different countries in Europe and Asia and came to the show. And you're basically saying, fuck you. And people try to defend him saying that Coachella used to be a big spot for him and his brother to go to and it was really sentimental for him. So then don't do the show if it's too emotional for you. I don't know what to say to that. I can never imagine that happening to my brothers. I never even want to think about it. But that's not an excuse for you 3 years later to not give it your all when you're getting paid $4 million.
Yeah,
That's
I
so much
didn't
money.
know. I didn't know they paid people. I thought it was kind of like the Super Bowl. Like you're getting the clout, so they don't
Nah.
pay you. So that is a big chunk of money. I don't want this to be so much on Frank's character because what has Frank done? Frank isn't Kanye. This is like Frank's first stunt, to my understanding and to my
Yeah.
knowledge, right? This is his first stunt, so he hasn't done anything bad. I don't think he's a bad person. And this is different because this is Coachella. It's a one-time event. It's a one-time performance, right? So you had all
Nah,
this time to
it's
plan for it.
multiple weeks.
But for an
Yeah,
artist
yeah,
performer,
yeah.
it's just one night, right? One night.
Yeah, but I think he performs week 2
Okay, week
also.
2. Okay. So it's
So
just
maybe
a
it'll be
limited
better next
amount,
week.
right? And he's not doing any other tours. So for him, that's where it's like you should have pulled out or whatever beforehand. But in general for concerts, I mean, plenty of artists pull out. You know what I mean? Because of mental health. Like if you
Yeah.
know the amount of strain these artists are going through, going to tour. Once they shut down the concert, they're on the bus, they get a little bit of sleep, they're writing lyrics on the bus, trying to make new
Yeah.
songs. That's their whole life. It's stressful and people have to pull out because of mental health. You hear it all the time. It's awful. But I will say Frank's situation is different. This isn't a world tour, a country tour. It was just a Coachella one
It's a
time,
first
2-time
show in
event.
6 years.
Exactly. So it is disappointing. But like I told Adam, all this ranting at the end of the day doesn't mean anything because he's gonna turn back
Still
around and bump
bumping.
some Frank Ocean. At the end of the
I was
day,
definitely listening to Blonde today.
yeah, there we go. So I feel like at the end of the day, that just shows how people actually feel about it. Yes, they're upset about it, but you're still gonna listen to the music. You know?
True. I just think it makes you. It definitely made me less. I saw a Frank Ocean Stan Twitter account
Mm-hmm.
tweeting about how disappointed they were. I have never seen a Stan account on Twitter start turning on the artist that their whole fan page is made around. So that was
Hey,
wild.
but next week they'll forget and it'll be, hey, Frank's
Yeah,
dropping a new album, this and that. But you think he's gonna drop still after this incident?
I don't care. Like, I don't know. If he drops, dude, do it. But stop stringing
Mm-hmm.
us along with
Yeah.
these like little hints that it's coming soon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's been 6 years. My mindset about it is if you want to look back on your career and say, there's only 2 of my albums on streaming services, so be it. If I was an artist, I would, knowing how good he is, I would
Mm-hmm.
want to have more material out there.
Hey, Gab, you see
Cement
how
my
hungry you
legacy.
are? I need this album. I want this album. It's kind of like that most F interview. You ain't chopping it up with me. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, yeah.
y'all ain't building the story. Y'all ain't building the foundations to make this art come to life. And for
Yeah,
Frank,
which
at
is
least the
why,
whole mysterious vibe, I don't mind. He can do that. My only problem was the concert situation. But apart from that, he can take
yeah,
whatever how long he wants to take
the,
because it's his music. You
yeah,
know.
the concert's my only rant.
If you want
The
it so
music,
bad, make it
he wants
yourself.
to come. Yeah.
What's the guy's name?
Well,
Judah Genesis or whatever, who made the Playboy
yeah.
Cardi. Yeah.
Wait, so that actually goes into our next conversation saying do it
Uh-huh.
yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I'll record a song, put some AI on my voice. I'll make a Frank
Facts.
Ocean song right now. So let's get into it. This guy, his name is like Ghostwriter
Mm-hmm.
797 or like some 3 number.
Great
And
name.
he made a song that perfectly sounds like a Drake verse with cringy Drake lyrics. He got it.
Mm-hmm.
He had the little 21 line. And then he's got the Frank Ocean chorus that sounds like pretty much like The Weeknd. And it's crazy. What is your opinion on this? Because I think the labels are going to do whatever they can to shut this shit down.
I've already seen labels. I've already been shutting it down. I
Yeah,
popped on
UMG.
YouTube. I literally when I was logging in to start the pod on the YouTube, the very first thing was Universal Music Group has whatever suspended or banned, put
Yeah,
into law, put into place for an Eminem AI. Honestly, in my opinion, this thing is nasty, man. This is
it's
nasty. This
awful.
stinks. This stinks. This is what did Joe Budden say? 2 pound ass. Because listen,
Yeah,
this is how I see it. People are hungry to blow, hungry to get some likes, some followers. You build an account and then you milk off these artists by manipulating their voice into however you see fit. That's nasty, man. I get you're hungry for the likes, but in my opinion, it's just whack. You will never catch me doing that. And maybe I might do it in my crib for fun, just see what it sounds like. But to put it out there and try to get monetary incentives from it, it's whack, man. No offense. Like, better to make your own music. I don't know. People are maybe doing it for fun, but I'm just not about it. I think it's
yeah,
nasty.
yeah. Maybe this guy was doing it to prove a point. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
sure what his goal was, but it definitely takes the creativity all out of music.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you definitely they're going to do something about people trying to make money off of it, because you can't be making money using Jay-Z's voice and writing like Jay-Z.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be like the biggest new thing in music. That's a huge, like, monumental. I'm not sure that's the type of thing that goes like the Supreme Court, but some high court probably has to decide, yeah, you can't be using people's voices.
Mm-hmm.
It's scary though.
It's also funny because now you can get whatever song you ever imagine. I know Adam has been fiending for this Drake and J. Cole song. He can pull up on that software.com.
I can make it one.
And make it himself.
Make one myself.
Which is hilarious.
Yeah,
but it's kind of weird, bro.
People have been throwing Kanye's voice on like all these different like already made songs. And my brother said this when he came on the pod. Everyone sounds amazing. Yeah. Like Kanye's voice just sounds great on everyone's song. I saw one of Drake singing, is it Bubbly? Like, then it comes to my nose and it and it sounded good and it's hilarious. But like, it's fun to see on my Twitter timeline. But I think Hit Boy posted a video of either Drake or Kanye rapping to his lyrics on his new album that just came out.
Yeah.
And people are like, Hit Boy, are you sponsoring this? Like, you of all people should probably be hating on this right now. We can't be losing all this creativity in our industry.
And it's just strange too. Like, how do these programs or websites even have the ability to engineer this vocal chain that's exactly like somebody? How can you just snatch someone's voice? It's crazy.
It is so weird. I think this could be me like trying to think too closely about it, but I did hear in the Drake stuff that it's a little too American and like he loses his Canadian accent. So it's not exactly like Drake, but it's learning. I guess it's like getting all of his music and it's taking how he says each like syllable and how he says certain sounds. And I don't even know.
Well, let me tell you this. If people aren't careful with those contracts they sign with labels, it could be a problem. I know, for example, Star Wars, the voice of Darth Vader, the main guy, he sold his voice rights away. So Star Wars, even when he dies, they can use his voice for whatever they want. They can make how many Star Wars films with Darth Vader's voice they want. And the thing is, if artists don't be careful with these contracts and they sign it, the label could have the rights to your voice. And if they wanted to promote that with an AI, they can send it to an AI, and that's that.
Dude, that'd be like evil behavior, because we've already talked about this and plenty of people have talked about how labels sometimes prey on the violence that's in hip hop. So people start signing artists and kind of rooting for their death so they can just milk it and make songs. That would be a very scary reality of the future.
I'm going to say the next 100 years is going to be really interesting with the technology we're having, even what's going on like geopolitically and stuff like that. It's getting tense, man. This technology is something else. TikTok, right? TikTok might be banned. Yeah. I think it will. We don't have to go into that, but I think it will. The way the pressure is coming, low-key Cold War. It's going to be interesting. A lot of people are making bread through TikTok. AI is coming up on the rise, and even AI can now write music, song lyrics. It can literally make scores, compositions. It's crazy what we're heading to.
I also saw that Ice Spice and a bunch of artists are doing this, but she dropped her Princess Diana remix with Nicki Minaj.
Yep,
then under it, there's the slowed version, there's the high-pitched version, there's the instrumental version, which is smart because people are just doing it naturally on TikTok. So she's saying, if they're going to do it anyway, I might as well release it in that version so I get all the money I can. So on one hand, good for her, get your bread. On the other hand, it's crazy that every song now has to be released with a high-pitched version and a low-pitched version, just in case someone wants to make a TikTok out of it.
It's crazy, man. We're going to an interesting time, but I know you have a lot of rants going in, one with Frank, and I know you sent me something on Twitter. This guy was not happy. Not happy. There's some J. Cole trash talk and some Pusha T trash talk.
Some Pusha T.
It got you mad.
So my question is, and I'll answer my own question first, is how do we judge hip-hop music? And you could say any music, but let's just stay with hip-hop for a second. How do we judge it now? Because some of these old heads on these podcasts, and respectfully old heads, just people who are older than me, I'm 21. People who are old heads are like, yo, that Pusha T, that J. Cole is not being playing at the club. Is that how we judge music? Because that is not how I think any kid who's 25 and under judges hip-hop music. Because the music at the club sucks. It is just remixes of old rap songs that are like, she hit the flow, next thing you know. Okay, depends
where you go, but we're not talking about bullets, my guy.
Or you got like, Home to Allah, check in with me, and do your job. Great song by A$AP Ferg. Shout out to him. But yeah, this is not how we judge music. And that guy, let's address the specific Pusha T take he made.
Yeah. Jim Jones.
Was it B Dot? Oh, Jim Jones. Okay, it wasn't B Dot. Jim Jones. I mean, dude, I've seen a bunch of clips from that podcast. I think they're just clowning and like he's kind of like being like Skip Bayless in hip hop. He wanted to discredit him for being a part of a group, which first off makes no sense. Then like Andre 3000 can't be in your top 10.
Yep.
So let's just put that aside. It's pretty known that Daytona is a classic. I think it's pretty like relatively known in the hip hop community. Maybe if you're not a huge hip hop fan, you don't know the album.
Yeah.
But I think people recognize it as one of the best old school versions of hip hop to come out today.
100%.
He got nominated for a Grammy for that. One of the first like cocaine rap albums to be straight up nominated for a rap album. And then he does it again with It's Almost Dry.
Yeah.
So that alone, those two albums, and what's the other one that's white? My Name Is My Name. Also great album.
Yep.
You got Nostalgia. You got Numbers on the Board. He's a top 50 rapper. Like what are we doing? Now let's bring in his fucking classics from his hip hop group. How do we you can't just discredit that. That's unfair because
I want to give some context for Jim Jones. So this was his argument. One was the fact that he had his most success, which is actually debatable now because of his recent two albums, with the Clips, him and his brother. 2, everything he's done has been under good music, which was with Kanye. And 3 was the fact that Pusha T doesn't have a sort of moment, classic, that song, that album.
And I think he does.
Daytona. I think Daytona was probably it. That was rocking 2018.
Yeah. But if we're talking songs too, I mean, Grindin' is one of the most famous beats and rap performers ever. It's his brother.
Yep.
There are I mean, unless you don't want to count feature songs, he has, what's the Chief Keef song?
Oh, Don't Like.
He's a Don't Like remix. He's on, I'm so bad with
what are you trying to prove right now? How many he's
that
on
he has, that he has like hit songs that most people know.
I'm gonna say Don't Like, Grindin', Runaway.
Runaway, that's what I'm trying to say. There's a bunch of he's on Click.
Click, oh my. Is he on Click? No, he's not on Click.
No, he's on the other one.
Mercy.
Mercy.
Yeah. Dude, the reason I know that so well, dude, listen, Kanye's still on the L list, but that moment in 2010, 2011, Kanye was, I remember us in the neighborhood bumping Cruel Summer, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy 24/7. Yeah. That was an incredible time.
And then we also have, I just lost it. Oh, Story. So he has the best diss song of the last 10 years.
Story of
Adidon. So he's publicly won a crazy huge rap battle. And I think he's top 20. But this guy says he's on top 50.
It's crazy.
And some of the names he named were disrespectful. I forget who he names. Who do you remember?
One of the guys just said, "Man, I think Jim Jones is higher than Pusha T."
Yeah, fuck
I don't remember. I forget what he said, but Pusha T is 100%
top 50.
Top 50, and minus his discography, what he's done for Kanye. People don't understand that people like Pusha, Sci-Hi the Prince, these guys are the ones behind who's writing these songs for these artists. Pusha T almost writes, I would say almost 50% of what Kanye has put out there and since like 2010 plus. Same thing with Sci-Hi. Sci-Hi wrote Sicko Mode. Y'all don't even know. Sci-Hi also wrote what's the last song? Coffee Bean on Astro. You know what I mean?
Sci-Hi. He's a crazy writer.
But so I will say, let me back Jim Jones real quick. Like old heads, like when hip hop first started, where was hip hop being played? It was played at parties. It was played at the club, right? So that's how they use their metric, but it's whack because you have so many like backpack rappers, true MCs that aren't making club music. So it is an old head type of metric. But I think it is a type of metric that could be considered. Like, do you have a hit that everyone's bumping? You know, I think every top rapper has to have that hit.
I just don't think necessarily hits are played in the club anymore. Yeah. Like you go to the club and they're playing like Family Ties, which is a great song.
It depends where you got to go, which clubs you go to, right? You got to go to ATL, and then you'll see what's up.
But like, are we really denying that J. Cole's been a top 3 rapper for over a decade? He's automatically top 50.
And he has no role models. He has no role models, and that's
but they don't play. They don't really play that at parties.
I'll say Power Trip. I think that's the club one. In the Morning with Drake, that was another one. But they
don't play In the Morning at the club. It's a slow song.
Not now, but back then, in the morning.
Maybe in 2000.
Hey,
Yeah, my point basically was that we have to find a new metric to judge music, because judging a rapper's top 50 entry based on the fact that it's played at a club, when they don't even make the music to be like back then. Maybe they made
Mhm.
music because they're like, this one's gonna get pumping at the club,
Yeah.
especially those 2000 beat selection, which I don't even like. That's just not my style of hip hop. But J. Cole and Kendrick are not making these songs with the intention of them being at the club. If they happen to make it there, sure. But you think maybe certain songs by Kendrick,
I
but I don't
think I
think
think I think it's a fair factor. As ridiculous as it may sound, it can still be a factor at the club. If it depends on which club you're at, you know what I
it can
mean?
be
If you're going to OSU, Bowen goes here, Short North. We're talking about like you going to the club, like you go to ATL and you go into the club. They got certain
it
songs that
can
are
be
playing, and if your song can make it there, that is a plus on your name.
it can be a factor in it. It just
Yeah,
can't. I don't think it can be the factor. If we
100%.
want to say, I mean, someone can completely say Future is better than J. Cole, blah blah blah, classics. But I'm just
Blasphemy.
saying, yeah, if we're
Inshallah.
saying
I'm
that
joking.
because Future gets popping in the club because he makes great club music, he's a better
Yeah.
artist than J. Cole.
Mhm.
Personally, I'm gonna heavily disagree with that, and
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like it's just an old head ass take.
Hey, shout out to Jim Jones. Whenever they're doing this,
Yeah,
mad funny. They're trashing J. Cole too. They said he wasn't top 50 either. I think he Loki has to be, and
bro,
especially this new album that's coming, I'm excited. J. Cole got me
they love
excited.
people love hating on J. Cole. It's crazy. Joe Budden
hmm
loves hating on J. Cole.
I feel like now it's undeniable after everything after KOD, because I think KOD was his first ever like people were questioning him, and this was
Yeah,
right at the time where For Your Eyes was starting to be realized as a good album. Again, it's hard to come right after with a great album like 2014 For Still
yeah,
Drive, but with Off
but yeah,
Season and the Dream, what he's done with Dreamville, man, you can't deny it. You can't
bro.
deny it.
If you're top three for over 10 years at a time,
hmm
that's just a different level of longevity
Yep.
that puts him above other people. I mean, I think we just like to love the past,
hmm
and it's like emotional to us because it's nostalgic.
Yep.
But stop with this J. Cole slander, people. Stop with it. And to get into someone else who is just such an amazing artist who's so evolved. I'm not sure if you watched the documentary yet,
hmm
but Rap Caviar put out a series on a bunch of different artists, and I specifically loved the Tyler the Creator one. And it was so interesting hearing him talk about his own evolution and how a talk with Pharrell made him think, oh, I got to take this shit seriously. And he was starting to become too known for his jokes. People would see him on the street and they were like, that's the guy from Ridiculousness. And he's like, oh, they don't even know me as my music. And for a year, he said he stopped doing funny shit because he's like, I have to be known for my music and that stuff can come after. And I thought it was really cool to seeing Tyler had that mature conversation.
What artists were on here? Tyler and who else?
So that episode featured Tyler, Pharrell, and some other. Each episode features a couple artists. That
Okay.
one was mostly focused on Tyler. There's another one that's like Jack Harlow. There's one that's Polo G. There's one that is Glorilla.
I gotta watch then. I gotta watch. That's
Yeah,
awesome, especially the Tyler
and
one.
yeah, and they're all focused on different
hmm
themes. And the Tyler one was just cool. And it was interesting just thinking about all the artists who put so much care into the production of their music on
hmm
top of the actual rapping. So you have Tyler, you have Kanye, you have Mac Miller, you have of recently Redveil is one
hmm
of those people who's producing all of his own music. And do you know are there any other artists who also do that? Maybe I'm forgetting some like
Do I
major people.
specifically Evolve or
No, that make like every part of their music. J. Cole makes beats.
okay, J. Cole? Do you think will you give more kudo points, some brownie points to those who can?
Yeah. So it's a weird balance. On
hmm
one hand, amazing and is so incredibly talented of you that you
hmm
were able to make everything from point A to Z to finish the
hmm
song.
hmm
And if you can do it, do it. On the other hand, it's cool. It's okay to ask for help from other people, outside people,
Yep.
to give an opinion. So I
hmm
think that's sometimes people's knock on J. Cole for a little
Yep.
was, hey, maybe like get a different producer,
hmm
or hey, maybe you can get a feature sometime.
Yep.
And like, I think that Tyler does that. Like Tyler's albums are a lot of his production, but then he'll also ask Kanye to come and do a
Yep.
song. Or on the deluxe, he had Madlib do a
Yep.
song.
In the
So it's like
terms
a
of
nice
hip
middle.
hop, I would say that's not as common. If you look at other genres, it may be common, especially when you're dealing with
Mm-hmm.
instruments and stuff and plugging that into digital software. For hip hop, is different because you really just have MCs, you just have people rapping, and these rappers don't know how to mix or engineer. They don't know how to produce, and that's always what hip hop's always been about since the beginning. You have the rapper and the producer, and that's how it's stuck with. You have a few who can do all of it, and I think that is a huge brownie point. Like J. Cole has a huge brownie point, but it does become a problem, like you said, where you might rely, it's your production, you know what I mean? It's your music, it's your songs, it's your lyrics. It becomes to you, and it might sound maybe repetitive, bland,
Yeah.
etc. So when you're
So
able to spice it up with new people, it can create awesome stuff.
I saw someone say about the College Dropout. Someone was saying like, "Oh, I wish Kanye kept doing that style." And someone wrote, "If Kanye kept making College Dropout music, he wouldn't be like popular after 2010."
Facts.
And that's like the thing that's so crazy about Kanye, that he's so good at bringing the right people in to help him, which is why each album, I mean, you go on late registration and brings in John Bryan, and then kind of I think uses him again on Graduation, brings T-Pain and starts experimenting with autotune. Then you go to 808s, he brings in Kid Cudi and gets the Drake influence. So I think Kanye's really, that's like his peak skill. He knows who fits on the right song and who to ask for help from. And I think like Mac Miller was good with that too. On this song, I want Thundercat to do the bass line. And he's just so musically talented that I think these artists just know who to come in, who to bring in, which is an important skill.
And I think I think that might be the recipe as well. I'm not saying you always have to, because you have some people like for example, in the early years, Eminem and Dr. Dre, or solely just Eminem and Dr. Dre. You have people like Billie Eilish and Phoenix. It's just those two, maybe a couple hands on. But I do think the more people you add on, because music is a creative and collective thing, the more brains you can add, I think the best music can come from that. And it's really difficult to, and I'm insinuating towards independent artists, to make sounds like that. You have limited resources, right? And you can only make certain type of specific sounds, hashtag YouTube beats, whatever it may be. So it's really hard to get those sounds. And Kanye, I mean, he has a label backing him. He doesn't have to pay that unless he blew all the advance money, then he might have to. Knowing Kanye, he probably did. But it's difficult to keep evolving and keep changing, adding more people and creative minds into the process.
Yeah, and a complete applause to Tyler, because compared to Frank Ocean, I mean, shout out Odd Future, Tyler Creator is so good to his fans. And just for one, like he releases on that 2-year schedule every year.
Oh my God. You hear this guy? God.
And I know I said
2-year schedule, but man, fuck your schedule.
Man, I said this at the beginning. Tyler can stop making music. He's given us enough music. Shout out right behind me.
He's done a good job.
He's given us enough music, but it's been like, he's someone who treats his fans really well, and you can tell he puts his all into his music, his all into his performances.
He does.
His all into his album rollouts. He clearly, maybe he's not doing that for us. He's doing that for himself because he just loves art. But it's really cool. You can tell he is so passionate about his music. And the thing with artists who are involved in the production, like I'm sure Kendrick Lamar is part of production. Maybe he didn't make the literal beats, but like I've heard stories of him in the studio where he is tweaking stuff. And that's the difference between an artist who just records over a beat and says, go do whatever you want to it, and an artist who is there every inch of the way making the music with the people in the room.
Yeah.
Which I guess is what a producer is versus a beat maker.
Exactly. And I'll say this last thing before we close. One thing about Tyler is he scares me, and he scares me in a good way, because I don't know what his ceiling is going to be. He is an animal. The way that he has grown, the frequency and the volume of how much he's dropping. I mean, I'm almost scared like he might drop a flop, but every time he's coming back better, stronger, and something different. And I think he might drop this year. I think that's the notion. He might drop again this year. That's, dude, like what?
It's wild. The only way I can see the album being quote unquote a flop is if he does like I like his high pitched singing in small doses. Like maybe if he did a whole album of that like off tune singing, it could be a flop. I think he just knows music way too well to flop.
Yeah. And he's confident, man. He's confident. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's hungry. And I think he's going to take over seamlessly after Cole, Drake, and J. Cole. Yeah. 100%.
J. Cole, Drake, and Kendrick. Yeah.
I was going to say, I almost had to think about who it was. Yeah. Obviously, J. Cole. J. Cole's the GOAT. No disrespect. Well, y'all, thank you guys for tuning in. It's good to be back. Good to see my boy Adam. If you haven't done so already, make sure you like and subscribe. Go check out our website, SoundCentricMusic.com. I think that's about everything, man. We'll see you guys on the flip side. Y'all take care. It's crazy out here. We will see you, man. Peace.
Peace.